chat, we're doing it again. Is that his name? Prince Kai? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Prince Kai. Okay. Brian, Krant. Who are some of my favorite big... So this is probably my... How many takes has it been? But hello, welcome. My name is Alex. Welcome to Read Endlessly. This is a new channel. I'm so excited for you to be here. I'm so excited for me to be here. And I'm just very excited to start making content about books. I've been wanting to for the longest time. I've told so many friends. I've made big proclamations when I was younger, when I was in the past. I've been a big fan of booktube content and booktubers for probably the last 10 years. And this making a channel has been on my bucket list, like at the very top of my bucket list for so many years. And I just never had the courage to do it. But this year in 2024, I've been taking a lot of risks and I want to keep that going in 2025. And this is going to be one of the big projects that I want to work on in 2025, and so I'm so excited. So today we're tackling the booktube newbie tag, the rite of passage. I got my questions from Carrie from Carrie Can Read back when she did her booktube newbie tag a couple years ago. So disclaimer, just a warning, I am not home alone, so you might hear some background noises at the back. So let's just move past it. So I have the questions here on my iPad right here. So the first, let's just get right into it. The first question is, why did I start this channel? Like I said, I've been a big fan of booktube for 10 years now. I grew up watching Christine from Poland Bananas Books, Jessie from Jessie the Reader, and I grew up watching Hannah from A Clockwork Reads, and I've just been such a big fan of them. One of the first booktubers that I actually remember watching was Sophia. I've just been such a big fan, and in the last recent years since COVID, like booktube has been popping off, and I don't think it's gonna be ending anytime soon, not gonna lie. So we're right here with you. I've also been just really tired of hearing myself say, oh, I'll do it next year, I'll do it when this happens, I'll do it when when I achieve this. But the biggest factor that was hindering me is that I just couldn't start. Like I didn't know how to start. And so, like I mentioned in the beginning, I've been taking a lot of risks this year, and I never thought I was good enough to kind of voice my opinions out there. The perfectionist in me didn't think I had the right equipment, didn't think I had the right camera or mic, and I thought I had to have all these things before I had to do this. But honestly, nowadays, I've just been going for it. All in all, I wanted to start this channel because I wanted the space to kind of document the things that I've read. I always liked to document, like I even have my anime list for animes and mangas. I have my story graph to document what I've been reading. I kind of want to have a visual diary almost of the things that I've been consuming, the stories that I've been reading and watching, and I wanted to log that in myself. I wrote in my notes, I simply just want the space to share the stories I've consumed and talk about them endlessly. Hence why the channel name. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to booktube? I don't know how unique this is, but why is my camera up? Let's just start again with the second question. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to booktube? Nothing is unique nowadays, and this is not really very unique, but it's still fun. So I read different mediums of stories. So I read books, like print books, for example. I also read mangas, and I also read manhwas, which are Korean webtoons. And I'm a big fan of all three. I also read in different genres within those mediums. So a combination of all those things, I think it's a fun combination. Like I genuinely think it'll be a fun way to kind of like crisscross and connect like different stories and all that. I know I'm not the first person to combine content like that either. I can't think of at the top of my head who has, but there's definitely somebody out there and I want to meet them. I think that would be really cool, a really fun thing to do. I probably won't likely be the last either. So, just more and more people. Let's combine all books together and it'll be such a fun time. We're chilling. So, slay. The third question is, why do I love reading? Reading to me in some parts is escapism, but also some parts the pursuit of knowledge. That's what my notes said. That's what I wrote yesterday. I started to love reading because it is an escapism, especially because the majority of things that I read are fiction and fantasy. They take you to different worlds, and I have a very vivid imagery in my head whenever I read, so I literally get lost in a book. And then in some parts I also read a lot of classics that have commentary on culture and society. So those parts in the pursuit of knowledge, that's kind of how I see it. But I do want to read more nonfiction books, a couple memoirs here and there. Maybe it's a genre that is out of my comfort zone, so I definitely want to dip my toes into it. I am your stereotypical English major, English lit girly. I took an English lit back in high school, and I was an English major at a time before I switched my majors midway through university. I'm the type of person that always tries to find meaning in things, especially in the books that I read. And it's just fun for me. Reading is fun. I may have not been reading as much as I used to, but it's always been a hobby that I cherish and will always escape into, basically. The fourth question is, what book or series got you into reading? The first book, though, that got me into reading, let me tell you the story. I don't have it with me anymore. I'm pretty sure it's still in the house somewhere. But the first book that really got me kickstarted into reading when I was 9 years old was the book version of the movie Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure movie. The one with the colored screen caps of the movie in the middle of the books, and I find those so fun. I think I got it from Scholastic or something when they do those book orders, and I read that and I was like, this is so much fun. I already watched the movie at that point, but I already glimpsed the movie too, and it's it's a movie in my head. And so that's kind of how I ended up liking reading when I was younger. The next point in my life where I started reading again, more and more, was after high school. I had more time to read. So in 2018, I found the first 2 books in Value Village. So I got 2 books for $7. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm an ACOTAR girly through and through. It's not the best book out there, but once you're hooked kind of thing. And I get why it had such a resurgence in 2020. But yeah, I found this in Value Village. I got a good deal because I got hardcover, and I also got the second book. The first manga series that I read is called Shugo Kara. I don't have a copy of that because it's been a while, but I found it in my school's library when we were having some reading time set aside, and I found it and I was like, I recognize the anime style, but I've never read it. And after reading Shugo Kara, I searched for it online. And then that's where it all started. The first webtoon series in the green app, the Naver app, that I read is called Devil Number 4. And I'm still waiting to this day for it to have an English publication. I'm crossing my fingers so much. Webtoons have been releasing in English for the last 2 years, and so far so good. They've been really pushing out really good titles that I'm in love with. But I'm really hoping for that one because that it holds a special place in my heart. Because before reading Devil Number 4, I had read True Beauty. I started True Beauty, but I didn't really get into it. So I dropped it. I think I dropped it for a year or so until somebody asked me what webtoons I read. And so I kind of picked back up. The first manga volume that I own is volume 7 of Kimi ni Todoke. This is such a special series. I'm so happy it's getting more traction, especially with the season 3 anime that was just released. but I specifically got volume 7 because it has a date scene, a New Year's date scene right on time. Thank you, Kazehaya and Sawako. They did it first. The first webtoon volume that I owned is the Korean version, the Korean version of Who Made Me a Princess. I don't have it with me. It's like right in front of me over there in a pile. Who Made Me a Princess. This is the English version, obviously, but I did buy the first 4 volumes online, like on eBay or something. I don't read Korean. I thought I would start reading Korean or learning how to read Korean when I got those books, but I never did. But yes, so Who Made Me a Princess also has a special place in my heart. The first English volume of a webtoon that I got was the first volume of Why Reliana Ended Up in the Duke's Mansion. So this also has a very every book that I have has a special place in my heart. But I'm just highlighting the firsts basically. This is already volume 7. But yeah, I have volume 1 somewhere over there as well. Next question. What challenge will you face starting a booktube channel? One of the biggest challenge that I think I will face is most likely staying consistent. I have a very bad track record with staying consistent, but one other thing is like I doubt myself a lot. Staying consistent, I doubt myself, which is not a good combination. I am also a really big procrastinator and a perfectionist, which is also a bad combination. I just want to build a routine in line with staying consistent. I want to build a routine where I'll actually be able to work towards something. Like, for example, getting my first video out or getting the first 5 videos out. There's a goal that I want to work towards, and hopefully through that I'll be able to build a routine that will help me stay consistent and not to worry too much about being having the perfect video. Where do you read? In terms of space, I read mostly on my bed. Honestly, I can read anywhere though. Like I can read in the car, I can read in a party, not to be like one of those other girls, but I can read like anywhere. I'll just find a quiet place, or I have my earphones and I would just put it on, my headphones, sorry, and I would just put it on and just kind of get lost in my own world. In terms of like print versus audio versus ebook, I think it's definitely dependent on what kind of books I'm reading. I like to read fantasy books more in print, but for ebooks, on my Kindle, I mostly read romances on there just because it's easier to get through. I also read webtoons and mangas on my phone, on the Webtoon app and other manga and webtoon apps that I have. Right now, an audiobook, I'm reading Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And so that's been fun. I heavily based my audiobook reading experience on who the narrator is, and I really like the narrator for Kai. So when did I start reading? I kind of answered that already, but yeah, started reading when I was seriously reading when I was 9, and then got back into it. Probably was reading a lot up until middle school. I remember reading like Sarah Dessen books, Lissy Harrison books, YA, basically Hunger Games. I was reading more mangas, honestly, at that point in time, a lot of shoujo mangas. So like Kimi ni Todoke, Ayo Haru Ride, LDK, yeah, Vampire Knight, like that was what I was on. Once I got into high school, I kind of started reading classics more. I read a lot of Shakespeare and Jane Austen when I was in high school, Kurt Vonnegut, and then I kind of just stopped reading for fun on my own. Like poetry, I read some poetries too. Virginia Woolf, I really liked. After high school, that's when I just started picking up like more fantasy books and more YA stuff that I never got to read when I was in high school. Who are some of my favorite booktubers? So like I mentioned, I got these questions mostly from Carrie Can Reads, and I love her videos so much, even her vlog videos. So hello, Carrie. I love Hannah from A Clockwork Reader. I've been a big fan of Hannah ever since I started watching booktube. In this list, Hannah's probably the longest person that I've been watching. Cindy from With Cindy, I always had fun hearing Cindy talk about books. Sunny from Sunny Kim Reads, I probably watched her start a booktube now video many times before actually doing this. Colleen from Colleen's Manga Rex is my number one go-to shoujo manga YouTube channel. And recently I just started watching a lot of book essays or video essays from Alina, from According to Alina. And I kind of just rotate between them whenever I watch YouTube, honestly, nowadays. The last questions that I have down here is, what are you most excited about for this channel? I'm just really excited to start. I'm just really excited to yap about books that I love. I am mostly also excited to expand the genres of books that I read. Like I said, I wanted to get more into nonfiction as well as memoirs. My main goal, and I'm really excited about, is just to get through my pile of books. And you can see me, if you can see me looking behind the cameras, because my pile of books is just right behind the camera. I'm just really excited to get through the books that I have. But I also, before we end the video, I also wanted to share with you what I'm reading right now. I'm currently reading. So I've been reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry since summertime, probably. I just haven't gotten back to reading it yet, but I've read that much. Right now I'm currently reading, I'm buddy reading with a friend of mine, Caraval by Stephanie Garber. We really want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart together, and so we were like, no, let's start with the Caraval series first, get through Caraval, and then read Once Upon a Broken Heart. So the person that I'm buddy reading with is Angelica. Shout out to Angelica. She made me this bookmark that I'm also using. So it even has my name on there. It even has my name on it. So yeah. So those are my currently readings. I probably have a lot more. Like I said, I was also reading Powerless on audiobook. One of my favorite books has to be Circe by Madeline Miller. I read this in 2019. I was in classic literature class, and this was one of the books that was assigned as a book review assignment. So thank you to my professor that assigned this book, because I love it. I just love the prose, the flow of Madeline Miller's writing. So good. I'm a really big fan of Haikyuu. This is one of my favorite covers of Haikyuu, which is volume 42 with Hinata, just before the time skip. I'm trying to rewatch it right now with my sibling, but we're stuck at season 3 right now, basically. But one of my favorite book series, Haruichi Furudate, genius. One of my most favorite shoujo mangas has to be my homegirl, Yona, Akatsuki no Yona of the Dawn, by Mizuho Kusanagi. So this is volume 38. It's actually in tandem with volume 37 and 39 with Hack. I love this series of covers, and Suwon. I love Yona of the Dawn. I love the historical romance. I love the political intrigue. I love the fantasy. I love the character development, basically. One of my most recently favorite series as well. I'm so glad it got an anime. Our Dear Girl Mama, The Apothecary Diaries. You can tell. I mean, if you like Yona of the Dawn, you're probably gonna like this as well for the vibes. One of my most favorite webtoons ever is A Stepmother's Margin. I love this book so much. I always cry whenever I reread it. I'm so glad that they started publishing it in English. I am so honored to have this copy in my hands, in my possession. I'm so happy to have read this book and to have been introduced to it. This will forever hold a special place in my heart. I know I've said that so many times, but one of my favorite parts of this series is the history repeats itself trope. I adore that. So yes, read it if you haven't. Along with all the things that I pulled up, please read it. But if you were to ask me what's my favorite, not even book, but what's my favorite story of all time? It would have to be Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. This is, I don't have any words to describe how much this book means to me and how much this book has an effect on me. I love Dokja. I love all the characters. My favorite character is Hyewon and Sangha, my girlies. This book is so meta that I'm always flabbergasted. Like, I'm just flabbergasted every time I read it. Even though I already know what's going on. Like, I'm just shook, and it only gets better. And currently, I think it's the 5th volume just got released by Ice Press. So I'm so excited for what's to come. But yes, those are my favorite books. This video is longer than I thought it was going to be because I yap a lot. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching to the end of the videos. I love you guys. I know that my friends would be the first ones to watch this. So I just want to say a special shout out to my friends. I'm not going to name all of you, but you know who you are. The ones that have pushed me to do this. This is for you guys as much as it is for me. And I can't wait to make more videos. I'm so excited. I'm shaking actually right now. I'm so happy. I can't wait. You guys, it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have a good time. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to point. We're gonna have a good time. I promise you that. We're gonna yap so hard, but we're chill. We're also chilling. Yes, okay, bye. I'm not even a full-fledged YouTuber yet, and I don't know why this is already happening to me. My camera battery just died, and I just changed to a new one. So thank God I have a spare battery. Oh dang, it actually came from here. That was a fire truck. So